cooking up something good here at home. We are cooking up something good here at home.
Well, hello, family. We're so glad you dropped by our kitchen today. It's always great when the family gets together. And you know, if you watch us regularly, that's exactly who you are. You're part of our at-home family. And when you write us the letters and you tell us that you enjoyed this, or maybe you'd like to try this recipe, or Arlene, I think I'd like to make it with this, that's very important. And we read all the mail because what you think we care about. And we do make some changes. And we're glad that you feel that you can do that, okay? Today, I've got to tell you, my very special guest, particularly for those of you in the Pittsburgh market, and even in central Pennsylvania and some other areas around the country where this great guy has worked. He is our Channel 4, the ABC affiliate here in Pittsburgh. One of the meteorologists, our weatherman, Don Schwenneker, is here today, and he's cooking up some good stuff. I tell you what, it is, you know, Joe DiNardo was with us so many times, and we've always enjoyed Joe. And now he's retired. He and Dolores are taking it easy. So we thought it's time to find someone else who's going to keep us abreast of the weather and cook up some goodies on the way. Don Schwenneker is here, and we're so glad he is. You're going to enjoy this. Trust me, you really are. He's going to make a wonderful, we're going to do a brunch. He's going to make this wonderful, like, English muffin, and it's got Canadian bacon, and it's, there's just a whole lot of stuff, plus a scalloped corn. This was Grandma's recipe, I think, and it's like a southwestern flavor to it. Ah, delicious and easy to do, just the way we like our recipes here at home. So stay with us. You want to give somebody a call and tell them, hey, the weather guy, Don Schwenneker, is on with Arlene. Come on, give them a call and get them on watching, because you don't want to miss it. We'll be right back, but first, here's today's at-home hint. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Here's today's at-home hint. Eggs should always be stored in the container they come in, as to transfer them to another container exposes them to odors and damage. They should also be stored large end up and used within a week for quality freshness.
If you have an at-home hint, a favorite recipe, or just a friendly greeting you'd like to share, we'd like to hear from you. Post it in the comments of this video or visit our Facebook page.
Here he is, folks, Don Schwenneker. Don, we're so glad that you came.
Thank you so much for inviting me. Yeah.
Oh, my goodness. Well, you know, I noticed that you talk a lot about recipes on the air. And so I went on the website and I clicked on recipes, and there was all the stuff that you've submitted and let people use and cooking with. And so I said, we got to get him on.
Well, you know, and it's funny, as the world switches to the World Wide Web and more people get on it, they came to me and they said, we'd like you to do a blog. And I said, do I have to talk about weather?
Yeah.
You know, I'd like to.
Yeah.
They're like, well, what else would you talk about? And I love to cook. I grew up cooking. I love to do it. So
your grandmother?
My grandmother, my mom, they got me started, you know. And then after I got married, my father-in-law, he's an excellent cook too. So it's just all around me, and it's just one of my favorite things to do.
Well, and you know, it is very relaxing when you're in like a high tense situation of your job. Sometimes nice to come home and just start. You know, how about your kids? You got 3 kids?
I have 3 kids, and
they like to cook?
They are trying and learning how. They're always in the kitchen with me. You know, it's funny, and too, traditionally guys are like, oh, I don't cook. I don't want to do that. And for me, I said this the other day in my blog. I said, it's like shop class, but you get to eat your project when you're done, instead of making the bookshelf or whatever.
Exactly, and say, what do we do with this now? At least we can enjoy it and share it with somebody.
Of course.
Okay, so what are we doing here first?
All right, we're going to make what's called, I always got to put an edge on my knives.
Okay,
it's a bad habit that I have. We're making,
a good habit.
This is something that we make in my house for any type of holiday meal, like Thanksgiving or Christmas
or Easter. Is this a grandma recipe?
This is from my grandmother. Now, I grew up in Iowa, and a staple in Iowa is corn. You have that on a lot of recipes. It's known for across the state for doing that. And so this is something her mother, my great-grandmother, used to make, and she kind of developed her own recipe. And it starts with some green pepper and some onion. Now, I chopped my onions so we wouldn't be crying.
Yeah,
I got those done already. So we'll put that
in.
And that is it's a medium size. I like to use a sweet onion, like a Mayan or Vidalia if you're doing that.
Vidalia is if you can get them, but you can't get them all year long.
No, you can't get those all the time, but I like to use a sweeter onion. And then I always take out my white parts of my green pepper because it's a little bitter, you know, and it's just easier. So real easy. I just chop it up. And the nice thing about this, and the thing I try and make with all my recipes is I like to keep them easy. I like to, you know, I have 2 kids in my thing. Exactly. I have somebody helping me, and, you know, maybe I'll bring the kids in the kitchen and give them a butter knife and let them cut or something like that.
Yeah, and I grew up with a good friend of mine. She was never allowed in the kitchen. Oh. And, you know, to this day, she still doesn't know how to cook and doesn't even want to learn.
Yeah.
Her mother made it. Now, at our house, I was involved since I was 9 years old. Because, you know, come on, Arlene, we're doing this, we're getting that. I've collected cookbooks since I was 9.
Wow.
Because I had an interest. Because I was allowed to have an interest in it.
And for me, I love my job. I love forecasting weather and getting the forecast together. But this is something that is so totally opposite and different of that.
That takes you completely away from what you have to do.
Yeah. Now, I know I hope your viewers don't get mad that I chop probably a little incorrectly. And
hey,
you're supposed
to
run your knuckle like this, and I do know how to do it, but I just kind of...
You know what? Someone said to me, why don't you do it? And I said, because I don't know how to do it the right way. So this is the way I do it.
Exactly.
As long as it gets chopped and you don't lose any fingers in the process.
Right.
And, you know, he said, you know, it's irritating because he always has to put an edge on his knife. That's the best thing to do because a dull knife is very, very dangerous.
They are, and you can do a lot more damage than you can do health.
Absolutely.
So I just rough chop this green pepper.
Okay.
You know, segment size doesn't really matter. If you have someone in your house who doesn't like green pepper, or maybe your kid, like my kids are not big fans of green pepper, what I do is I will cut it back to a half.
Yeah.
And
but
also,
you usually normally one large, kind of on the large side.
Yep, medium to large green pepper. Just chop the whole thing in, take out the middle and all that stuff. So that's it. So there's our vegetables.
Okay.
Now, corn. You were asking me about this. I use low salt.
Okay.
I know my grandmother watches her blood pressure. Now she says she's on blood pressure medicine, so she can eat as much salt as she wants. And but that's not the way it works, right? So
No, you didn't drain that, right?
No, I just put it in with the liquid.
Was this 2 cans?
2 cans of whole corn undrained, and just put the liquid in there as well.
Whole kernel corn undrained.
Yep.
Got it.
And then and I use the no salt because I always figure you can season after.
Sure. I feel like you can do it at the table too.
Right,
so
exactly.
I don't even use salt anymore.
So you don't have to. I'll cook with it sometimes. And now this is 1 can of sweet cream corn.
Cream corn.
So you're using 3 cans of corn, but that's the cream variety.
And smells so good.
And then next we'll use a little sour cream.
Okay.
And this is a pint of sour cream.
A pint, okay.
Yep, make it easy. And this is also a fun one to do with kids because they get to work with it. You know,
when they can stir.
Right, when they can
like
stir and they're involved, they do it.
How old are your kids?
I have an 8-year-old boy. 9. He just turned 9. Sorry.
Okay.
So yes, and
That
if
means a lot to a kid.
it is. It's huge.
Right,
next year he's double digits. So he's.
Oh boy.
I know. So I have a 9-year-old boy, Michael. He's in 3rd grade, and I have a 5-year-old daughter who's in preschool, and a 4-year-old, almost 4-year-old son.
Aww.
So it's crazy
nice.
around our house.
Yeah.
Now this
is
is
fun though, huh?
Jiffy. Oh, it's always fun.
You told me the thing you really, really wanted to be in life was a dad.
I did.
That is so neat. I've never heard anybody say that before.
Well, we were talking before, and Arlene said, you know, did you ever think about going into cooking? You want to be a chef? And I said, you know what? I loved it. I worked in restaurants for years. I was a bartender and a waiter and a chef. But the hours are so tough.
Oh, yeah.
I have great respect for anybody who does that job.
It's never ending.
Right. They are there from, especially if you want a successful restaurant, you're working when everybody else is off work.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, and so I wanted to be a dad, and so I tried to find something else, and it just turned out to be TV.
Yeah. Well, what you're doing is good.
This is Jiffy. It's it's been around for 100 years.
What is it, corn muffin mix?
This is corn muffin mix. Just one box. Take the whole thing, and you're just going to dump the whole thing in there too.
Stuff is so versatile, huh?
Oh, you can use
I mean, you can make it with anything.
You can use it for toppings. You can use it for. By the way, I love having. You guys can't see this at home, but I have a garbage can right over here. I kind of dig that.
Yeah, because people thought it was thrown on the floor.
Yeah,
I'm
exactly.
Like, folks, that's a garbage can.
There's a garbage can back there. That's nice. I'm going to have to think about getting one that close. So then what we do is this is a bag of cheese. It's mild cheddar, and I like to use the finely shredded.
I do too.
Because it seems to melt better. Yep,
yeah,
it gets through the product more.
Now that's how many cups?
That is 2 cups. Now in the recipe it has 4. Some people like it cheesier. My daughter would eat it if I put 8 cups in there.
Oh yeah, she can't get. Can you ever have too much cheese? Really?
I don't think so. Although sometimes my stomach might disagree.
Yeah,
with
well,
but,
this is true.
You know, that's the whole thing. So then you're just
that's easy. Huh?
Yeah, you're just gonna mix it all together, and the bigger the bowl, the better.
No pepper in there. No.
No, you can. You know what? Yeah. Sometimes I'll add a teaspoon of fresh ground pepper. I'll add maybe a teaspoon or 2 of salt.
Okay.
It really depends. Really? This is really versatile.
You could even do like to spice it up.
Oh, yeah.
cayenne and
You know
stuff
what?
if you wanted to really bring it in.
I've often thought that it would be really good to take a can of chilies.
Yeah.
And put
well,
them in.
I was thinking too, instead of the green, all of this
Yep.
being just a regular green pepper,
Yep.
why not throw in some like jalapenos to give it some spice?
Yeah, I think that would be
'Cause,
really good.
You know, these guys all have asbestos mouths here.
Oh,
You know, I mean, they've. You
and
know,
I am a
trained-
fan of peppers too.
Are you? You like the hot stuff
Yep.
too? Yeah.
Now, if you want, you can let this sit for a couple of minutes so the cornbread rises, but I'm not really going to worry
okay.
about that. We're just going to put it right in the bowl,
Okay.
get it out, and spread it around.
Man.
And the nice thing about this is so easy.
Oh.
You're going to put this in the oven,
Okay.
and it goes in at
Wait, it's preheated oven?
preheated oven.
What?
Yep.
At what temp?
375 or 350. 350. Excuse
okay.
me. Yep. 350.
Okay.
And it goes right in
Wow.
like this, and that's it. Put it in and forget about it.
Cool.
It's in there for an hour, and
Bakes an hour.
Yeah, we'll take it out in an hour, and you'll see it crust
Yeah.
up real nice.
Well, he brought one, so we're going to have one at the end of the program. But we're going to take a break. We come back. He's got the next recipe that's that wonderful
Eggs
Eggs Benedict. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
All right.
Yeah.
Do you love watching At Home with Arlene Williams? Then be sure to check out our new YouTube channel. It's filled with classic episodes from over 20 years of At Home, and more videos are added each day. And don't forget to click the subscribe button so you'll never miss another episode of At Home.
Well, if you just joined us, this is my special guest, Don Schwenneker.
Perfect.
And he's from Channel 4 News here in Pittsburgh. Great weatherman. And do you ever get to see Joe DiNardo very often?
I don't get to see him as much anymore. He lives on the far side of town,
Yeah,
but I
he
talk to
does.
him almost every day.
Do you really?
Yeah. I absolutely love the guy.
Please give our best regards
Oh,
to him
of
when you
course.
talk to him. He has always been like one of our favorite people here.
You know what? And I didn't realize how little I knew about weather forecasting until I worked for him.
Oh, well, he
And
knows it all, man.
He really
this
does.
guy, he eats, sleeps, and breathes everything.
Yep.
We miss him too, not seeing him on the air, but hey, you're a good substitute.
Oh, well, thank you. Thank you.
shoes to fill,
And
huh?
I'll be at any time. I'd love to come on. This is fun.
Oh, great.
Now, what we're doing here, we're going to do an Eggs Benedict casserole.
Okay, what are you doing here with this? What is this?
This is Canadian bacon. It's 12 ounces of Canadian bacon, and I just get it.
How lean that is. Isn't it beautiful?
Isn't it nice? And this is another one, kind of like the last one where we did. There's cutting, but it doesn't matter on the
Doesn't-
size.
nah.
Yeah.
As long as it gets cut, huh?
My wife, one of her absolute favorite breakfast meals is Eggs Benedict.
Me too. But it's a pain to make.
It is. It's an
Especially when you
absolute
have
pain.
to poach the eggs and everything.
You got to poach the eggs. You got to, and it's just too much. And you got to fry the Canadian bacon up. And
Sure.
so, what we're doing is I just chunk it. I just do nice big chunks
Now,
because
is this a rind on here, or is that just part of the bacon?
that's just part of the bacon.
Okay,
And
because they cured, right?
Right, exactly.
Okay.
Now you could use ham. I
Yeah.
mean, some people like ham. It's not. It's got a little different flavor, but this has
Well,
a
you know
nice
what?
smoke
That would be
to
nice
it.
to use for leftover Easter ham.
Exactly. This is a great
That'd be
thing
a
to do,
treat.
like on Christmas morning.
Yeah.
We'll do this one because you make it the night before. You throw it in the fridge.
Oh,
And then you
okay.
just toss it in the oven whenever the kids get up and come downstairs,
Yeah.
and it's ready to go by the time you're done opening
Oh,
presents.
that's nice.
So that's a nice
Yeah, good.
one. So we get our
12 ounces,
12
right?
ounces, and it's done. Next, we're going to use our English muffins. We've got
Okay.
a couple right
These
here.
are-
Oh, I've got to watch my knife work there. Sorry about that.
Yes, that's quite all right. Not a problem.
And these are just regular old Canadian English muffins.
Okay.
And I'm just chunking them too.
Oh, you're not even splitting them. You're just chopping them up,
No,
huh?
because it's really now the finer you chop it, the more egg it'll absorb.
absorb, yeah.
Yeah, and some people like all their flavors mixed. I like to taste kind of everything, so that's why I
Yeah.
like bigger chunks.
Yeah, I understand.
I want a chunk
Sure.
of ham, or I want a chunk of Canadian
You could
bacon.
probably do this with like a muffin bread,
Oh yeah, that'd be
you know,
good.
or a challah bread or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whatever your favorite breakfast
You know what?
bread
This
is.
is nice and porous though. This is really going to absorb that.
It does.
The
It
egg
just
and stuff in
sucks
there.
the egg mixture right
Yeah.
up. So we got that.
Yes.
And we'll do this last one. I'll tell you what. You want to do this?
Sure.
And I'll get started on the next
Okay.
segment.
I think I can handle that knife.
Now I think you put your bowl. See, finding my way around the kitchen
Sure.
already.
Hey, make yourself at home.
Then I need my milk.
Okay.
Now the next segment. This is really a recipe where you do want to make it the night before, because
Have you
you're
ever
gonna.
made it when you didn't do the night before?
Yes, I have. And
It's not the same,
It's
is it?
not because it doesn't soak into the
Doesn't
bread as
soak
much.
it up. That's right.
Yeah. So while you're chunking that, I'm going to take how many eggs? I'm going to
don't
take
know.
6 eggs.
Okay.
Perfect. And let me show you this real quick. This one always gets my kids. I can do magic with an egg.
Yeah.
Sit. There you go.
What a
right,
guy.
thank you.
Ah,
Yeah.
Round of applause.
Thank you. Thank
audio
you.
man.
You don't know how many eggs I broke working at McDonald's on Sunday mornings back when I was a teenager learning how to
Trying
do
to
that
get
trick.
that done.
Yeah.
That's funny.
So there's
What
5.
a guy.
We'll put our 6th egg right in there. Perfect.
Yeah.
That's done.
Okay.
Then, along with the eggs, take your milk. And you're gonna
Wait,
put
how many you have in there? 5.
5. Oh, good.
Okay.
No, wait. I need 6.
You need one more, huh? Okay.
I'm glad you're counting.
Hey, you know, I figure.
It's TV. I get nervous when I'm on TV.
Yeah, right. Yeah, like a second pair of shoes.
Yes. It's, yeah. All right. Now, you're going to
How
put in
much
2
here?
Okay. of milk.
Okay. Oh, you're.
That's
Now, you have
that's about
fat-free,
1.
huh?
I did. You know what? I try and cook relatively healthy. You can, I'll put in a little more just
Yeah,
for good measure.
because that first one looked a little
It
bit.
did. It looked, yeah, we better do that one too. All right.
Okay, we use a half a gallon of milk in this.
Exactly. No, it's just 2 cups, 2 cups of milk. And then you're going
Okay.
to put in a teaspoon of onion powder.
Okay.
Now, a teaspoon in
Yes.
my hand, I've done it enough that I know it's about
know
that
where it
much.
is. So do I. That's
so
a
that's
good way
about
to do it.
teaspoon of onion powder. You're just going to mix this together.
Okay.
So what do you do when you're not cooking? I'm going
What
to
do
turn the
I
interview
do?
around here.
Well, what do I do? We're very involved with our church.
Mm-hmm.
We go that. We do that route. And when it's nice out and the weatherman cooperates and the weather gets nice.
For the record, we don't make the weather. We just.
Okay.
I'm in marketing, not production. The guy upstairs is in production.
Yeah, he is. You're right.
Yeah.
He knows what's going on.
Exactly.
But we do like the plant thing. We like the flowers. Paul and I, we work outside a lot and do that kind. But it's, I like to read a lot of stuff. I read a lot because I like to watch trends in cooking so that I can keep abreast of what's going on. And like, what do you read books about weather?
No.
No.
Oh,
That's
no.
his job.
You know what? I do when I'm at work.
Yeah. But not at home on
Not
your
at
spare
home.
time.
My wife would tell you that she has no spare time, and the reason she has no spare time is because she's generous enough to give me a little spare time.
Aw, what a
So when
girl.
I spend my spare time, it's usually I'm a volunteer fireman. So
Are
that's what I do in my
you?
spare time.
Good.
Yeah. All right, so you're gonna take your egg, milk, and onion mixture. You're just gonna pour it right in.
Okay.
Super easy.
Done. Okay.
And then
Good.
get my spatula. You just want to mix this all together. Make sure everything's coated, nice and ready
And
to
you
go.
would also know if you have enough milk because it's going to coat it or not. Right?
Yeah, exactly.
So if it looks a little dry, you might want to add a little bit.
And it's one of those things, yeah, if you're off on your milk and you want to make it a little more soggy, that's okay because it's
Sure.
going to bake out.
Absolutely.
It's going to bake out. And
Actually, what you're doing is this is like a custard, isn't it?
yeah, it is almost like a
Eggs.
custard.
Anytime
Yep.
you use the eggs. Now, is that buttered or anything?
This is not buttered. It's just ready to go.
Doesn't
Take
have
this.
to be.
Doesn't have to be. Now, the only
Okay.
thing you do have to do is, again, you're going to want to do this the night before.
Okay.
Now, my father-in-law, when he makes this, he'll actually layer it. He'll do his Canadian bacon, and then
really?
he'll put his
The
muffins, and then
bread.
he'll put more Canadian bacon, and it's
Oh.
really good too. It's just, it's personal
Hold it.
preference. I think part of eating is seeing, and if
Yeah,
it looks good,
We always eat with our eyes before we ever taste it, Don.
exactly.
We do.
That's
Everybody
exactly it.
does.
So we're gonna take this and we're gonna put it in the oven, cover it. You're actually gonna put it in
No,
your
the
fridge
fridge,
overnight.
not the oven, yeah.
And then the next morning,
We'll
you're
bring
gonna take it out, and it
Now,
goes.
if you don't have a flat like this, you could do it like in an oval, deeper dish
Right.
if you wanted to, right?
And you know what? You can do it. You can do it thick. You can do it thinner.
Thinner,
However
sure.
you want to do it. You're going to want to watch your baking time.
Right.
This one also bakes for an hour, just like the
Okay.
other one.
So you can adjust your time for whatever you need.
Right. For whatever pan
Okay,
you're in.
now what are we making? Let's
Now,
just set that aside here.
We'll just
I'll
set this
take
over there. I'll let
Okay.
you take that. Now we're going to make some hollandaise sauce. And if you've ever made hollandaise sauce,
Okay.
it is a pain. Because you got to make that hollandaise sauce with eggs.
It
Did I
is
get
a
this
pain.
on?
Okay, you got the first one going?
Oh, wait, I got it.
Give it some more gas.
Oh, there we go.
All
Live
right,
TV.
firing it up.
All right, so in this we've got a couple right here.
1 minute,
Instructions are on the back of
Oh,
your
okay.
hollandaise sauce. So we're gonna mix in a cup of milk and add a 1/4 cup of margarine, and we'll put in our cup of milk
Okay.
because you really.
Now you're just making one of these?
I'm just making 1 packet. That's
Okay.
enough for 2, although I brought 2 just in case. I didn't know how
Can
many
you
of the
have-
crew people would eat.
Can you have too much hollandaise?
No,
I don't
think so. And if you've ever tried to make it with the lemon and the eggs and make it from scratch, it always, for me, it always curdles.
Yeah,
I can
and
never
it's
get
very
it right.
ticky.
Right. So we'll get this made. You'll
Okay,
see that on
Don.
TV later today.
Like
Oh,
I said, would you like an apron? Oh, no.
I'll be fine.
You'll be fine. Hey, we'll be right back. We're going to be in the dining room. We come back with the hollandaise, the wonderful corn, and that English muffin, well, I can't tell you all.
can't wait.
We'll be back in just a minute.
All right.
Just go to ctvn.org/at-home to get all the recipes from today's show for free. That's right, no subscriptions. They're available online at no cost, and more are being added each day. So join us at ctvn.org/athome to get today's recipes now.
This has been so great today, Dawn, to have you here. It's just been such fun.
Thank you.
And you are just so much fun. But look what's down front. There's our corn, scalloped corn. Tell us now a little bit about what's in there.
Again, it's onions and green pepper and corn and cornbread. It's a really great side dish for a big family meal.
Any kind
or
of
brunch
a meal,
too.
huh?
Yep.
Yeah, any
Yep,
kind.
exactly.
And next to it is our
Eggs Benedict. Eggs Benedict, so hard to make. Here, I'll get you
Please.
some. So
He's
hard
gonna
to
do it.
make in poaching the eggs and everything. And with this, you don't have to. You just get in the middle, and it's almost like a
See,
custard.
look at the custard. You can see the custard
Yeah,
in
you
that.
can kind of see that. And
Yeah,
so you put
that's
that on
funny,
there,
yeah.
and then you
There's
put on
the
a little bit of the
hollandaise.
hollandaise sauce.
Oh, my.
And I like to drizzle it over a little
Yes,
bit. Just
well,
kind of really make it a
it
picture.
swim.
That's right. There you go.
And then we just added, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Then we just added some fresh fruit.
Yep.
We have sliced fruit there. We have some cantaloupe and some berries. And of course, a nice big platter of all kinds of fruit. But then we just added some little muffins there. We thought that would be nice because this would be a great, simple, you've got the meat, you've got the main course, you have a side dish, and the fruit. What more would you want for a brunch?
And everybody loves brunch. That is one of those that everybody loves. Hey, can I show you something
Absolutely.
real quick?
He's going to do the trick.
This is something I do when I'm in the restaurant and the kids have waited and here, I got to get it set up,
Okay.
get my thing here.
Hold on.
I can make my spoon
Look at
float.
that. His spoon is floating.
Thank you.
His spoon
And
floats.
You do that. I'll give away the secret, right? But you can't. It doesn't look like that. So if you ever see me in a local restaurant and I'm doing that, you know my kids are acting up. That's how that works.
Actually, he does that to get attention, but that's
That's
okay. Hey, we're so glad that you dropped by today, and I hope that you will send for these recipes. Thank you so much.
Thank you very
Come
much.
back again?
I will be back.
All right. And I hope you'll come back again because it just wouldn't be the same without you. Here on At Home, we'll see you then.
Furnishings provided by Levin Furniture, featuring Lane's Country Living Collection. Food provided by Jordan Banana Company, wholesalers of fresh fruit and vegetables in Trevosburg, Pennsylvania.
Don't forget to click the subscribe button so you'll never miss another episode of At Home. Thank you for watching.
Cornerstone Television wishes to thank all our faithful viewers whose consistent prayers and financial support have made this program possible.